guys. We are here today with my friend Corliss. Corliss, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, obviously, my name is Corliss. No last name, first rule of radio. But I've been working in country radio majority for 12 years, little top 40, little stuff like that. And currently program an alternative country music station in Bryan College Station, Texas, called Maverick 100.9.
Perfect. That's fantastic. So I just have a couple questions, and we're going to try and cover some topics that I know my followers are wanting to know. And if that leads to something else, that's great. So how and when did you get into radio?
So I started when I was 17 years old. That's when I got my first job.
All right.
I was still a senior in high school, and I was actually ready to enlist in the Navy.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I loved going to concerts, and I have a big music family. My dad was a musician, and I met a really cool DJ once, and I wanted to be just like her. So my senior year of high school, I got a hold of someone from Kansas State University and asked him, like, how do I get into radio? And he goes, honestly, go to your local radio station and ask him if you can change the trash. Which I never had to empty the trash bins. But I started as a board op. I worked every Saturday for an hour and every Sunday for an hour, just running the board.
That's awesome. You know, it's always that one person that kind of gets us started. I feel like when you ask an artist or anybody with a career, when they got started, it all starts with one person, kind of giving them that in. So that's such a big part of it. What are the best and hardest parts of being in radio?
Ooh, do they have to be the best and hard at the exact same time or separate?
It could be whatever the best answer for that is. If it's that for you, then go for it.
Because sometimes that's the whole thing together. It's hard, and it's also like not hard at all at the exact same time. So I'd have to say the hardest part is not letting anybody find out my last name. And honestly, the brain drain is what I have noticed the hardest part of my job to be. Whether I could sit in one spot all day, I could work only 4 hours. It depends on what project I'm working on. Mm-hmm. It is so mentally exhausting at times that it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for anything physical. If I wanted to go out and party, or if I wanted to go out and exercise, my career does not allow for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Good sides are the people that I meet. And that's people from every spectrum, like you. Mm-hmm. We met through the music industry. We did, and I get to meet artists and managers. Yeah. I get to meet people that put on music festivals. But even more so, being in small market local radio, I get to meet business owners, the people that make my community awesome. I get to meet people that love to win concert tickets, or that just like to laugh along with me. Yeah. So that would have to be the best part.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The music family is one of my favorites. We all really support each other, and I love doing stuff like this. Even in quarantine, we can still connect, and this is kind of our wheelhouse, so this is perfect.
It is. I mean, we have to get with other people within our industry that get us. Yeah. Because anybody who's ever met a radio personality, or just anyone working behind the scenes in the music industry, we're not normal people.
This is true.
And we will never claim to be.
Yep. Well, and I feel like us women have to stick together in the industry. You know, I feel like when we find each other, we have to support each other, and this is a great way to do it. So
it's very true. And it's hard to believe how very few of us there really still are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been a big goal of mine, is to highlight women in the industry. So I'm so glad when women like you, who are very successful and strong and fun, want to do stuff like this. So this will be great. What is your favorite memory in radio? Or do you have one? Can you pick just one?
I know, deer in the headlights. Like one specific memory. All my memories.
You can go top
great.
5. How about
that? Depends. How family friendly is this?
I mean, radio rules, Corliss. Radio rules.
I'd have to say there was a music festival in Oklahoma during my time there. I have horrendous stage fright.
Really?
And if you ever see me on a stage, you wouldn't know that. I know, it's crazy. But if you see me walk off of a stage after I'm done doing an announcement, I'm shaking. I'm completely vibrating, and I've got tears in my eyes because I'm terrified of it. Yeah. I think that actually adds to my explosive on-stage character.
Yeah.
But there was this specific music festival, and we'd already had a great time, but I was so nervous. I hadn't eaten days. I was a nervous wreck, and I'm losing my mind. And then the headliner of the night was supposed to go on. And we had a curfew at this specific festival. So they needed to get him on the stage, get his show started, and get him off.
Right.
Well, the owner of the festival was like, no, we need the Bud Light girls up there. And then it just so happens the whole OSU football team was there.
Oh,
no, I want them to go on stage with you. And he wants all these things. Tour manager is yelling at him saying, we don't have time for all these things. I'm in the middle, like, I'm not the boss. So right. I need an answer. It stressed me out.
I can imagine.
So I go up to the artist who I don't know if I should say his name or not. You tell me if it's okay. If not, cut this part out.
Go on.
But Cody Johnson was the headliner, and I had only met Cody once. Mm-hmm. He's a very nice guy. Right. But once again, I'm going into Corliss is about to hit the stage mode, and I'm shaking. I'm a wreck. And he walks up to me. He's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I just broke down on him. I was like, they're arguing about this, and I thought my job was this, but now they're saying it's this. And look at those football players. If they've been drinking, and if they step on this stage and pull one bad wire, this whole show goes down, and I get blamed for it. And Cody Johnson looked at me and gave me a pep talk.
Yes.
Like, one of my favorite artists in the world was like, you know you're gonna rock this, and you shouldn't care about what they say, because you're awesome. And if they mess up anything, I'll make sure I'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about a thing. And it was like this huge pep talk, and I'm like, oh.
I can do this.
I guess I'm fine. I think that's my favorite memory in radio.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That's a pretty epic memory.
I have a lot of epic memories, though.
Right.
It's a job where I'm constantly, I mean, I could flub a word on air, and that could turn into one of my favorite memories. You know, you can make up a new word, or you know, it's something as simple as sitting in the studio and something just happens.
Yeah.
I get a lot of rescues in. I could just have a rescue animal that I fall in love with, or it can be me getting really, really nervous before having to walk out in front of 18,000 people. And my favorite country star gives me a pep talk. Like,
that's amazing, though. I love that, though, because it also highlights how much of a family every part of this industry is, because you have two totally different sides of the spectrum, but he was pep talking you know?
Yeah, I mean, we do. We all have to be understanding towards each other. That same music festival, Josh Abbott was supposed to play the next night, and his girlfriend at the time, now his wife, had just given birth that weekend.
Yeah.
He had to cancel all of his shows, fly back to Texas, have a baby, and then get back out on the road.
That's crazy.
And I've never seen an artist explode onto a stage like he did that night.
Yeah.
He was the happiest man in the world because he had just had his first child.
Yes.
But he was back on the stage, but for his first time as a dad. It's magic.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's going to be every artist when this quarantine is over. The level of concerts are going to go up because everybody's just going to be so excited to even be back out on stage, you know?
I'm in a faint. I'm a crier. Anyways, I cry at concerts a lot. I could give you a million examples of that too, but I won't.
I think I know some of these. I think
there's going to be a lot of tears involved for me when concerts come back.
I'm excited. Well, speaking of artists, what advice do you have for young artists that are looking to get their music played on the radio, or do you have any?
Oh, I have plenty.
Great.
And I'm actually a first-time programmer.
Okay.
And a music director that chooses all my music on my own. Otherwise, I've always had a team of people.
Right.
So for the first time, I'm on my own, and it's very overwhelming, especially working with independent artists. There's not a rule book.
Yeah.
So my first bit of advice, just because I feel like a lot of people don't get this correct, when you get a list of radio stations and you're emailing the program directors and the music directors and whomever you may be emailing, or this could even go for venues if you're trying to book yourself, make sure that in your email you have got at least an MP3 attached.
Yes.
Preferably in radio, you're going to want a WAV file because that's what we need to actually play it on air as a WAV file. But at least have an MP3 attached. Don't use a Spotify link. You can include your Spotify link.
Right.
I don't care. Show me your YouTube video. You've worked hard on that stuff. If it's cool, have it in your email. Yeah. But you have to have an attachment, because if you don't, I have nothing to download and put on the air.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm not going to go chase you down for it because I've also got 500 other artists in my inbox right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Make it as easy as possible for the person that you're sending your information to find everything they could ever need on you.
Yes.
For sure. Well, that's great advice. Well, what is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
I love this question because I get to talk about my best friend.
All right.
And my best friend I met, she was actually my competition.
Oh, wow.
We were working for competing country music stations, but somehow we struck up a friendship. But man, I looked up to her. I still look up to her. I tell everybody, I'm only here to make my mama and Carly Evans proud. That's all I care about.
That is fantastic.
One night while she was my competitor, she was giving me advice. And we were talking about a show she had just been to. She went to go see Joe Diffie. And I was so sad that I didn't get to go to that show. You can imagine how sad I am now.
Yeah.
Thanks, coronavirus. But I was telling her about a concert I had gone to or something. And I was just being Corliss. I was getting really excited talking about this. And just in a split second, she goes, "Could you just never stop doing that?" And I said, "Doing what?" And she goes, "Just being a fan. I don't care who you're a fan over, but you fangirl. You lose your mind. I don't care if it makes the artist uncomfortable." She goes, "I stopped being a fan a long time ago, and I feel like I lost it." And she goes, "I feel like that's your best quality. If you could just keep being a fan."
Yeah.
That advice was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I still make people feel uncomfortable because I'm a fan.
You're still a fan, huh? I think that's the biggest part of it. I feel like I've been on the side where I worked with the artist, and I know that, they really appreciate that because artists pour their heart and their soul into their music. And for somebody to get excited about it and love their music and be excited to come to their live shows, that's what feeds them to want to do more. So I totally agree with that advice.
There's just this big, like a stigma around radio, and you have to be like snooty or
There you
like
go.
you know more
Yep.
or like whatever that is. Nope.
Yeah.
Throw that out. I'm a professional. I've never hurt anyone, you know. I haven't gone that extreme.
Right.
But I'm not going to dull down my love of music. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And you never have. And that is my favorite thing about you. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on here, because I knew it would be fun and lighthearted, especially in what we're all going through, to just kind of bring everybody's spirits up and hopefully give them a little bit of advice. So
that's what music is for.
Absolutely.
And it's my job to bring you music. So if I'm happy about it, all I can hope is that somebody else is pretty stoked too.
There you go. Well, Corliss, how can everybody watching this find you?
Ooh, you can find me at, let's see if we can name all the social medias. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Corliss on Air. I'm on Facebook at Corliss Radio, or of course, you can check out corlissradio.com. That's where I put up a lot of my content, all my specialty programming. Mm-hmm. And that's also got the links to all the social medias, which makes it a whole lot easier.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to put this up on our YouTube. That's all the questions we have for today, but thank you for wanting to be a part of this, and hope you're having fun in quarantine, and I hope to hug you soon and this all be over.
That's what I miss the most. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks for watching. For more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can also visit us at 362entertainment.com.